Red lines start to twist. Yeah. He's digging through the stories, ooh, finding all the things you missed. Talking Super Bowl ads, old films in modern trouble. If the world's too loud, he cuts it down to the subtle. So turn that down, 'cause you know who's talking. Ooh, if there's truth in the static, Tom Gulley, from where you're looking. Ooh, you gotta dial G for Gulley. 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 Dial G for Gulley. You gotta dial G for Gulley. You gotta dial G for
It was late, one even, smooth and mellow and sweet. Tom Gulley on the airwaves, laying down that beat. He heard a little rustle, tapping soft and discreet. Turned around and saw some spiders dancing on their feet. All their legs were shiny gold, and the rhythm pure heat. He thought, hold on, baby, these little fellas groove kinda crazy, and the whole room lit like a disco dream. Oh, that was the night the spiders attacked, but with disco hearts, baby, nothing got whacked. Skittering, jittering, never losing the tact. Tom Gulley smiling, feeling all the impact. Oh, honey, no one got sacked on the night. Oh, the night, the night, the night the spiders attacked. Christian Slater walks in with his Hollywood stride, leather jacket shimmering, grin open wide. He saw those tiny dancers moving side to side. Didn't take a minute for the man to join the ride. Every spider in the room kept the groove amplified. The lights flickered bright like a Motown stage. Silky harmonies floating like we'd turn a new page. Spiders tapping rhythm like a miniature band. Oh, that was the night the spiders attacked, but with this must go on with the mic burning bright through the dust to the dawn. Yeah, whatever goes wrong, the Tom Gulley Show lives on. The show must go on. He's the radio outlaw with a charm so sly, a storyteller's cadence and a wink in his eye. From the ghosts in the attic to the news of the day, Tom breaks it all down in his signature way. He's the king of the ramble, the lord of the yarn. He'll take you from evening straight through to dawn, with callers so strange you'd swear they're a bit. But Tom never wavers, he just rolls with it. The show must go on, the show must go on, with the mic burning bright through the dust to the dawn. Yeah, whatever goes wrong, the Tom Gulley Show lives on. The show must go on. So grab your Dr. Pepper and settle in tight. Tom's firing up the airwaves tonight. Where the chaos of calm, he keeps steering the ship with a quip, a riff, and that gully grip. The show must go on, the show must go on, through the static and storms, every dusk, every dawn, from the heart of the net to the edge of beyond. The Tom Gulley Show lives on. Yes, the show must go on.
Hey everybody, what's going on? How you doing? Forgot my ring. Got it now. Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your fabulous evening here tonight? Tonight we're going to tell you about the mystery of Lauren Spierer. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, it's going to make you mad. It's going to make you mad. Makes me mad just sitting here. There's so many details, there's so many people, there's so many things that have happened. And all throughout these years since 2011 when this occurred, her parents have continued to wage a fight to find out just exactly what happened to their daughter. Crappy at Life is with us here, says H2BH. H2BH to you, my friend. H2BH, happy to be here. Do us a favor if you would. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all those free things that help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing algorithm. Also, we have super chats, we have memberships, and we also have the PayPal there. It's all in the description of the show. PayPal, we love that because that's where you give the most, I get the most. Google don't get nothing. In addition, you can go to the TomGulleyShow.com. We're in the process of converting. In fact, we've already converted it over on Podbean. We're in the process of converting all of those Podbeans over to my website. So if you're the type of person that just likes to listen to the show, you can have those just to listen to, audio only. Also, all you truck drivers out there, that's for you. If you go to the TomGulleyShow.com and go to the store, again, everything's in the description of our YouTube. Right now, today, just today, free shipping, 40% off everything in the store. Make sure that's true if you're, while you're checking out. But that's what it says. That's what they sent me. I'm not God. I don't know everything, but that's what they said. That's what they told me. Currently, just the one chat from Crappy at Life. Must be a slow news day. I don't know. What did I see? I saw a big news story. It was the January 6th pipe bomb guy. They apparently have found him and charged him. I don't know. I didn't watch it for too long. There's too many speeches. Just tell me what's going on. I don't need to hear all the speeches. Definitely don't need to hear the speeches. Anyway, what do we got here? Oh, yes. Let me tell you about Lauren Spierer. Okay? Lauren Spierer was a 20-year-old student at Indiana University. And she went missing in the most mysterious way. And one of the reasons it's very mysterious is we know all sorts of things about where she was and what she was doing up to the point that she disappeared without a trace. And then some squirrely things started to happen that have, I believe, prevented the authorities and her parents from knowing exactly what happened and exactly where she is to this day. She was born in 1991. Charlene and Robert Spierer are her parents. You can still go to findlauren.com. They keep the website up in the effort to hopefully get some new clues or keep the search alive. She's been missing for 14 years and 6 months to the day yesterday. She grew up in Scarsdale, New York, which is a relatively upscale town in Westchester County, New York. She enrolled in IU, Indiana University, where she was studying textiles merchandising. And she was very active in the Catholic community at IU. She met a bunch of people years earlier before she ever went to Indiana University, including her boyfriend, Jesse Wolf, and another friend named Jay Rosenbaum, years earlier at Camp Towanda, which is a summer camp in Pennsylvania, a little mountain town called Honesdale. And it was there she met various other future Indiana University students who later became her circle of friends when she enrolled in IU. I probably will say IU. That's how everybody in Indiana refers to it. Anyway, so on the night that she disappeared, she was drinking with several friends of hers. And her boyfriend, Josh Wolf, who, remember, she had met years and years earlier, he said that he didn't go out with her or her friends that night, so they were texting back and forth before Lauren had gone to bed. Now, according to witnesses, she was very intoxicated. And so Bloomington, Indiana, that's the town Indiana University is located in, the police there used video surveillance and witness statements to create a timeline of her whereabouts before her disappearance. And there is video surveillance, a lot of it. And I'm going to tell you when the things I tell you from this timeline are actually documented on video. There's a lot of it. Lots and lots and lots of it. More than the usual case. And that might be a good time to give you a couple little disclosures here. Excuse me. I worked in Bloomington, Indiana. That's where I was on the air doing afternoon drive at a station known over the air as AM 1370. Really the WGCL AM. And I was in one of the main buildings in the downtown, right across from the city building, on like the 4th or 5th floor, overlooking the little sort of village that all the college kids and people from Bloomington would frequent at nighttime. There were tons of clubs there. Predominant was a sports bar, but with a lot of music and other things. A big place called Kilroy's. There were other places, you know. I can still remember the Trojan Horse, a great Greek restaurant. Yanko's Little Zagreb, a little upscale steak place. Nick's, the burger joint in town. I could go down the list. That's the center of kind of the places to go. Most college towns have them where kids go to party. And I will also tell you that within the state of Indiana, and certainly amongst all the college kids that you might encounter, Indiana University obviously is a place to get a good education, but it's also known as a place to get your party on. As I guess are most colleges, but Indiana University was really known as a place to get your party on. Continuing the disclosure, so was Ball State where I went, but Indiana, that was something that it was kind of known for. And just a little disclosure there. Some of the things that she was doing, I'm sure, are not uncommon for college students, and were certainly not uncommon on the campus of Indiana University. I did, as I mentioned, the afternoon drive, which was 3 to 6, and I got out of there as quick as I can, but because by 6 o'clock on a Friday night, that place was starting to get quite congested. It was, a place you didn't want to be if you had somewhere to go, because a lot of traffic, a lot of stuff, even at 6 o'clock, starting to go on there. Additionally, I lived in Indianapolis, which is about 40, probably by the time you got to my house, 60 miles away. So I had a little bit of a drive. I had friends there that from time to time I would, just stay overnight so I could skip out on one of those drives. And I spent a lot of time in Bloomington. We'll just put it that way. That's part of the reason this story is so confounding to me. It's, let me tell you about it, and you'll think it's confounding too. The timeline goes like this. On Friday at 12:30 a.m., that's a half an hour after midnight, and there are witnesses that report seeing Spierer leave her apartment with a friend named David Rohn. And the two of them went to the apartment of the guy on the left. Sorry, the guy on the right, Jay Rosenbaum. They went to Jay Rosenbaum's apartment and met up with the guy on the left, Corey Rossman, who was Rosenbaum's neighbor. All right. And the next time we know where she was, because this is video surveillance footage, she is seen entering Kilroy's sports bar. It's on the main drag there. They have video surveillance. And that happened at 1:46 a.m., so about an hour and 15 minutes after she left her apartment. About 45 minutes later, at 2:27 a.m., Lauren is seen exiting the bar with the guy on the left there, Corey Rossman. She left her cell phone and her shoes at the bar. She'd taken her shoes off when she walked out onto the sand-covered patio. It was a place where they would have volleyball games and things like that. And there was a very large back area. This is a big place. Corey Rossman walked with Spierer to her apartment complex, okay? About 3 minutes later, she is seen entering the Smallwood Plaza apartments where she lived. A passerby named Zach Oakes noticed her level of inebriation and asked her if she was okay. All right. Roughly 18 minutes later at 2:48 a.m., after she left her apartment, which she had just arrived at, she entered an alley that runs between College Street and Morton Street, College Street being the main drag. Security cameras mounted on nearby apartments show her leaving the alley 3 minutes after she entered it and walked toward an empty lot. Her keys and her purse were found along this route through the alley. Doesn't appear to be running. doesn't appear to be panicked. Spierer and Rossman arrived at Rossman's apartment shortly afterwards. So they'd been at the Rosenbaum apartment earlier in the night. Now they go to Rossman's apartment, the guy on the left. Michael Beth, Rossman's roommate, was at the apartment. Rossman himself, on the left there, was very intoxicated, stumbling, smashed, basically. He vomited on the carpet on the way upstairs. Now, Michael Beth, okay, he says he escorted Rossman to bed. He makes sure his roommate's okay. Well, he tries to persuade Lauren to spend the night, to sleep over for her own safety. And he claims that Spierer said, "No, I want to go back to my apartment." So Michael Beth says he then phones his neighbor, Jay Rosenbaum, the place where they had sort of started that evening, wanting him to take care of Lauren Spierer. It's like, hey, you kind of guys started this whole thing. You're more friends with her than I am. She needs some help here. He said Spierer was attempting to get Michael Beth to drink with her at her apartment. She's like, why don't we go back to my place and drink? And she eventually went to Rosenbaum's apartment, where Rosenbaum observed a bruise under her eye. Presumably, she got it in a fall earlier that evening, and she told him, I don't know how I got this bruise. 2 calls were placed from Rosenbaum's phone shortly before she is reported to have left. Rosenbaum said that she placed both calls, one to Roan, the friend she started the evening out with, and one to another friend. And neither person picked up, because it is 3:30 in the morning by this time, and no messages were left whatsoever. Okay? At 4:30 in the morning, Rosenbaum reports that Spierer left the apartment. This is the last reported sighting of her. Okay? He said the last time he saw her, she was at the intersection of 11th Street and College Avenue, headed south on College. She was last seen barefoot, wearing leggings, and a white shirt. Okay? She was last seen like this. That's what she was wearing. And this is some video surveillance inside one of the apartments. She's got a jacket there. I don't know why. It was June in Indiana, which, well, it could have gotten cool in the evening, but rather doubtful. Rather doubtful. Several hours later that morning, her boyfriend, you remember, Josh Wolf, he sent her a text. And when he sent her that text, remember, she had left her cell phone at Kilroy's, the bar. He got a reply from an employee at the bar who had her phone, and he reported Spierer missing at that moment. There was a massive, massive investigation. The story went national very, very quickly. It also resulted in all these boys that she'd been interacting with that evening, all of them, all of them lawyered up immediately. Lawyered up. You've got parents of a friend, some of them had known for years and years and years, wanting to know what happened to their daughter. They said they did not trust the Bloomington police. Okay? They lawyer up. But they say we've taken polygraphs. Yeah, they took their own polygraphs. In other words, polygraphs that were not conducted by the police or the FBI. Now, one of them apparently did take an FBI polygraph. By the way, Stribbs is with us. He says H2BH. Towns is with us, says H2BH. H2BH, happy to be here to you guys too. Got a riveting chat going on tonight. Let's see here. One of the surveillance cameras out on the street made note of a white pickup truck. A white pickup truck. And it was for some time let me see here. It was the focus of some of the investigation. It was this truck here, which they determined from all of the video footage they have might have gone by where Lauren was in her inebriated state. Circled the block around the time Lauren was last reportedly seen. And they wanted info on it. Nothing came of it, though. So the investigation continues, and it's turning up nothing. Of course, these fellas, all lawyered up, and really didn't help at all. Nice people. Nice people. By August, a month later, police conducted a 9-day search of the Sycamore Ridge landfill in Pimento, which is south of Terre Haute. It's quite a distance from Bloomington. And they're looking for clues in the disappearance. The landfill is where the trash from Bloomington is hauled after a stop at a transfer station. The Bloomington Police Department, the Indiana University Police Department, and the FBI took part in the search. And as of May 2013, 2 years later almost, investigators have received 3,060 tips on the disappearance. 100 of them they'd received in the first half of 2013. In April of 2015, 4 years later, the Bloomington police announced they were investigating a possible link between Spierer's disappearance and the murder of another IU student, Hannah Wilson. Hannah went missing April 24th, 2015, after visiting Kilroy's, same bar that Lauren was at the night she disappeared. She was last seen getting into a taxi in front of the bar, driving away. Her body was found the next morning in Brown County, which is somewhat nearby. A local man named Daniel Messel was arrested for the death of Hannah Wilson after his cell phone was discovered near the body in a stroke of criminal genius. In 2015, it was concluded the two cases are unrelated, and any similarities between the two cases were coincidental. Strib says it is a somber topic. It is. It is. In January of 2016, about 4.5 years later, the FBI and other police agencies investigated a property in Martinsville, Indiana, which if you're in Indianapolis and you're driving to Bloomington, you have to go through Martinsville. It's about 20 miles north of Bloomington. According to a statement released by the FBI, investigators were following up on leads and tips in Morgan County, that's where Martinsville is located, regarding the disappearance of Lauren Spierer. The property was connected to a man, Justin Wagers, who resided there with his mother and stepfather, and this individual was suspected of how can I put this politely? Showing off himself to numerous local women. Investigators searched the property with cadaver dogs, which indicated potential evidence. Anthropologists conducted a dig and sifted dirt from the barn where cadaver dogs hit, but they didn't find anything. Investigators also towed from the property a truck belonging to wagers, but nothing ever came of it. Nothing. Nothing at all. There are a number of theories as to what's happened, and her parents is, again, you can go to findlauren.com, have tried to reignite interest in what happened to her for many, many years. Their Facebook page is still very, very active. Considering. Lauren Spierer's parents have stated they believe their daughter is deceased based on her level of intoxication. They also felt that she may have been drugged while at the bar. Her father, Robert Spierer, he said, "We felt somebody could have slipped something into her drink at Kilroy's. The family has voiced suspicions about the men she was with that evening, as well as her boyfriend. That's because they refused to take police-issued polygraphs, and they retained lawyers very soon after her disappearance. Now, while the parents have not made any specific accusations, they do believe the two know more than they have told police so far." And when she says the two, I believe she's talking about these fractions of human beings. The men responded that they have taken privately administered polygraphs. Since they do not trust the Bloomington police, they say they retained lawyers. Now, just a few of the theories around this case. Regarding her level of intoxication, her friends and her boyfriend, Josh Wolf, there he is, they told police that she used drugs in addition to alcohol on the night leading up to her disappearance. Wolf here, his mother, alleged that Spierer was asked to leave the summer camp where she met her son and Rosenbaum years earlier because of drug use. She said this poor little girl is not with us today because of her drug abuse. On September 2nd, 2010, 9 months before her disappearance, Lauren was arrested on charges of public intoxication and illegal consumption. And after her disappearance, police said they found a small amount of cocaine in her room. And I'm just going to say, given how many people were cross-pollinating from apartment to apartment and the environment at that time at Indiana University, if it's a small amount, I don't know that you could say it was even hers. That's just me. That's just me doing some thinking. Rosenbaum, who, lawyered up, guy on the right there, nice shirt, by the way. I know if we all went to jail for what we wore in college, we'd need to build some new jails. He, the guy that lawyered up, didn't want to help, managed to be able to tell police that she consumed alcohol, snorted cocaine, and crushed up Klonopin tablets that evening. I don't want to help, but here's a bunch of mud I can throw on this missing girl that might help my case out a little bit. Nice guy. She had a rare heart condition called long QT syndrome, and that just meant when her heart beat, the interval between it filling up after it contracted was longer than the average person, but this did add to the danger of drug use for her. Police addressed rumors that implied she may have overdosed and those with her may have hidden her body to avoid criminal charges. Bout, a private investigator hired by her family, he doubts that a fatal drug overdose could be enough to, create a motive to hide her death. He cited the prevalence of drug abuse on the IU campus, and there was a lot. Every kid's buying pot, cocaine, drinking pills. He said, it's all over the place, so that can't really be the motive behind it. But you never know. You never know. Police have also acknowledged they have not ruled out other possibilities, such as abduction by a stranger. Her parents, however, have stated that they don't think that's what happened. They do not believe her disappearance was a random abduction. Now, one of the stronger theories is that guy, Daniel Messel, okay? In 2017, we're working on 6 years now after it happened, Brown County prosecutor Ted Adams reported he believed Daniel Messel could be connected to Spierer's disappearance. In 2016, he was convicted of the death of Hannah Wilson in 2015. And she'd only been reported missing for a day when her body was found in a desolate field. She was rather brutally killed. And for some reason, he left his cell phone there. But he's never been charged in connection with her case. There's other things that might connect him to that. And the fact that she was found in the middle of nowhere, kind of, he left enough of a trail that they were able to find her quite quickly. But 5 years earlier, could they have? Also, not looking great for Kilroy's, which, by the way, is under new management. It's not owned by the same people that owned it back then. That, two girls leave there and are never seen again. Doesn't scream out, safety. Although Hannah Wilson did get into a cab. So that's a whole nother case. Maybe we'll talk about it some other time. Now, Lauren's parents filed civil lawsuits against Rossman, Rosenbaum, and Beth for their involvement with their daughter leading up to her disappearance. The lawsuits accuse the defendants of negligence, saying they supplied her with liquor after she was already visibly intoxicated. And by the way, Lauren Spierer was only 20 years old at the time. And I'm telling you, a tiny little thing. She was 4'11", 90 pounds. Okay? And after they got alcohol for her, they neglected to make sure she was returned safely to her apartment, and that likely led to her demise. The family stated they wanted the lawsuit to lead the defendants admitting more information about what occurred that night. I truly don't think it was a random abduction. I think that somebody that knew Lauren was responsible for the events of that evening. And that's according to Lauren's mother, who's very, very active in keeping all the social media and press and everything alive about this. As part of the suit, they subpoenaed private cell phone records and academic records spanning 134 days before and after the night she disappeared. a move the defendant's lawyers predictably labeled a fishing expedition. Well, when you won't cooperate with your friend's, disappearance, people go fishing. Why wouldn't you just help? Why wouldn't you just be like, hey, if you're lawyered up that much, why are you scared of the Bloomington police? It doesn't make any sense. In 2013, federal judge Tanya Walton Pratt dismissed the suit against Michael Beth after determining he had no duty to care for Lauren Spierer. In 2014, the judge dismissed the suit against the other two men, finding there could be any number of theories as to what happened to Lauren and what, if any, injuries she may have sustained. Without evidence to prove these theories, it would be impossible for a jury to determine if whatever happened to Spierer was natural and probable consequence of her intoxication without any other intervening acts that would break the causal chain. Except for the fact, Judge, that she's missing. Even if she just passed away on the street, why is she missing? Lauren's parents appealed the ruling, but the dismissal was upheld by a federal appeals court in 2015. Lawyers for the men have stated that their clients have cooperated fully with police. No, they haven't. They had to have their cell phone records subpoenaed. That's not cooperating fully. They say that they also cooperated with private investigators hired by the Spierer family, and that all of them passed private polygraphs. Look, if you don't trust polygraphs, and they're not admissible in a court of law, you should really not trust a private polygraph. The people taking them know they're not binding. They're not being looked at by law enforcement. They've been interviewed, and to say they are less than forthcoming is just not accurate, said an attorney who represents two of the men. To date, none of the defendants have been named as suspects in her disappearance. Now, they made sure of that. The HLN show, Real Life Nightmare, detailed the Lauren Spierer case in an hour-long episode called Night of No Return in 2019. Her case has been covered in multiple podcasts, including Crime Junkie, True Crime Garage, Going West, True Crime All the Time Unsolved, Trace Evidence, Not Another True Crime Podcast, and I Wish You Were Here. The intense press coverage is another reason why this remains such a confounding mystery. And frankly, we may never know what happened to Lauren Spierer. And that's really all her parents want. They believe her to be deceased, Abracadaver says 2011 was a wild year. Yes, it was. It really, really was. By the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all of those absolutely free things you can do. They only cost you a click to help us with... Hold on, I got to get on camera for this part. It's very important that I do. Whoops. The algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing algorithm. And super chats, memberships, PayPal. It's all in the description of this YouTube. I'm on OBS tonight, so I don't have the crawl. Also, the Tom Gulley Show store. If you want one of those Scont shirts or any of that stuff, or just some of our other merchandise for the holidays for friends and family. Today, I got an email. I get an email every day from Cafe Press, and it tells me what's for specials and all that stuff. A lot of times it'll say earmuffs, 50% off, and I'm like, I don't sell any earmuffs. But today, everything you get is free shipping, which is significant with Cafe Press. It's free shipping, and 40% off. 40% off. Make sure and double check that at checkout. But there you go. What do you know about that, man? Yeah, no, I'm thinking about you all the time. I am thinking about you all the time. So that's all I have to tell you about Lauren Spierer. You can look on television. You can try to find some more things out about her. There is much more depth to this investigation, and there are a few more kind of moments. There's a lot of video footage that I can't show you, unfortunately, that I don't have the rights to show you. And she's all over the place. They have video or going in apartments, out of apartments, on the street, a number of things. So there's also a lot of speculation about this and about that I didn't get into out of respect for the parents. But again, you can go to findlauren.com. And here's kind of a, montage that was made for that site. Findlauren.com, still up. So just tremendously sad for the parents. They've come to terms with the fact that probably their daughter is no longer with us. They just want to know where she is and what happened. That's all. And some of the posts, frankly, on the Facebook page are heartbreaking. They're just a mother's grief of every day not knowing and no resolution and wondering what happened. Abracadabra says you should do Let Me Tell You About the World Cup 2006. Why 2006? Why would that be the one? Why wouldn't I do 2002 and the U.S.'s run to the quarterfinals? Why would I not do that? Please. Please, please, please. I do have standards. I've got a lot of standards. I will tell you something about the 2006 World Cup that a lot of people do not remember. But I remember, because frankly, I am a soccer genius, the likes of which we may never see again, frankly. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. The likes of which we may never see again. Although the United States were eliminated by Ghana for, I think, what would be the first of two times. The only team that the Italians played at they won the World Cup. The only team that they played at the 2006 World Cup that they did not defeat was the United States of America. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you so much. The only team was the United States of America. Anyway, I would love it if this particular missing person's case could be solved. I really, really, really would. It would be nice for the parents and just to find out what happened. I personally think that if it was a criminal, if it was somebody, what is this for? Oh, it just shows me who the top fans are. Oh man, Julian Zeezer. Is Julian Zeezer? Oh, he just posted a show on the Polygraph. Would be interesting, in my opinion. It would be. There are some. Let me find it here. Doggone it. There's a photo, I think, of someone here taking a polygraph. Let me look into this. When I was researching it, I ran across it. I was going to use it, but I don't have the rights to use it. And you know how I can be about that. So I personally believe that if it was a criminal or a vagabond or anybody but the Daniel Messel guy, I think it might be able to be him. But as I recall, there were some very, very specific reasons he was eliminated that would have made it, impossible for him to have been the person that perpetrated this dastardly act. I think that these guys do know what happened to her. I really do. Now, with the amount of video surveillance that's sort of prevalent in all of this, who knows? Who knows? But why am I... Oh, there we go. All right, let's see what we got here. ABC News, Brian Ross, chief investigative correspondent, declined to answer any questions. Rossman now lives in New York. And he told them they'd be sued if they followed him through his building's gated entrance. These guys are all about suing. They're all about, I'll get my lawyer, There was a guy, an ex-con named James McClish, that had a similar truck to the one they were looking for, and he agreed to a lie detector test to show he was not involved. So his polygraph indicated he was telling the truth, and he said, "I wish you guys the best of luck." I do. There's a guy that believes a motorcycle gang abducted her. There's someone who is in prison, a guy by the name of let's see what his name is. They got a tip that a guy named Corey Hammersley, who was in Indiana State Prison, was an athlete, but he got into the drugs there at Indiana University. They think he might have done it, but they proved not really. They're looking for new leads all the time. I do remember that Corey Rossman interview with him living in New York, and he was just, a tool. Rossman also claims to have lost his memory. Let's get that absolute tribute to, there he is right there. Guy on the left. He lost his memory after being slugged in Lauren's apartment. That was another thing. There was like rumors of a fight in the room. She's got a black eye. Some guy hit Rossman for being a jerk. Her boyfriend doesn't really know what he was doing that evening. And he wouldn't be interviewed on camera. And like the rest of them, he says, "I've cooperated and I didn't have any involvement. And by the way, here's my lawyer." these guys' stories are all so sketchy. He said he was at home watching the NBA Finals, which ended at midnight. So who knows? The boyfriend did help with some of the searches in the first couple of days, but then his parents came, got him, took him away. All these guys left school really fast, which is, I mean, the internet was around, but it isn't like it is today, where people would be super, super up in these guys' grill, right? Anyway, that's the story there. There is an ABC investigation that's online that you can watch, and there's a lot of details, like the one, like Rossman throws up in the hallway. They go into the room, and there's apparently an altercation, and he is just about knocked out, and that's why somebody else has to put him to bed, and there's a lot of chaos going on that evening. But we do know sort of her whereabouts and where she was at most of the time. We just don't know what went on here, there, and everywhere. But these guys, who knows what they know? Let's say they didn't do anything. Let's just go ahead and say that. The energy and the effort that people had to make to get around their lack of candor, it's kind of inexcusable. It's like, if we can eliminate you, we can move on to something else. So, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, man. I need those likes. I need them bad. Incidentally, got a little Christmas surprise coming up for you. Can't tell you what it is yet. It's coming up. You're going to like it. Coming up on the Tom Gulley Show, let's see here. Monday night, we will be doing an episode on the Sydney funnel web spider, the spider on this earth with the most deadly and poisonous venom of any other spider. On Tuesday, we will cover legendary B-movie producer Roger Corman. If you don't know his name, you will after the episode. Totally. You will know who Roger Corman is. Let's see, Tuesday. Wednesday, we will cover the Indiana State Fair gas explosion. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Are you going to want to be here for that one? Let's see here. That is, you're thinking, oh, what's the big deal with that one? Killed 81 people. Yeah, you're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. Anyway, and then Thursday of next week, we will cover the disappearance of news anchor Jody Huisentruit back in the 90s. And this one, if you thought Lauren Spierer was, wait till you see this one. It's, she was a news anchor in Mason, Iowa. Anyway, disappeared without a trace. Never found. Legally declared dead. Anyway, oh, I picked up the wrong piece of paper. I have all these papers, don't you see, with all of my perspective notions and things and such and things, and if see, you think that's all of them. Oh no, it's not. And you think maybe that's all of them. And you think that's all of them, but that's not, and it's not, and it's not, and it's, yeah. What's that? I don't even know what half of those are. Anyway, bonus. I will be doing a show on Sunday, a bonus show. You're welcome. And that bonus show will be on legendary tough guy actor and World War II veteran Lee Marvin. Lee Marvin, Sunday at 2 or 3 o'clock Central Time, which would be 3 or 4 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on the Tom Gulley Show. Oh, you're saying a show on the polygraph would be interesting. You can count on that, Julian. You can count on a show on the polygraph. Guaranteed. Strip says you spoil us, Tom, and it puts up spiders. Town says spiders, hell yeah. Goat says, I thoroughly enjoy these, Tom. Thanks. You're welcome. The encoding that gets done for this leaves stuff up for a long time because I'm looking at the live and then I look over at the encoding and okay, it's doing my bidding now. It's like I see myself on screen and there's still graphics I posted up over there. So anyway, Lee Marvin. You guys look into Lee Marvin. He's won an Academy Award for crying out loud. And his interviews, like on Carson and Dick Cavett, his interviews are they're so good. Lee Marvin also involved in a landmark, and I see there's many gentlemen in our chat room right now, a landmark case. He was dating this woman named Michelle Triola, and I guess she was living with him. She and he were not married, but she went ahead and changed her last name, legally changed her last name to Marvin. I guess so people would think they were married. Then when he broke up with her, she sued him for community property, even though they were never married. It's a big legal case at the time, and was in all the papers, was made fun of on late night talk shows and everything else. But Lee Marvin, I believe, served in World War II with Captain Kangaroo, Bob Keesham, and said he was the bravest guy he ever saw. Yeah. That's what Lee Marvin did. God, he's great in those interviews, smoking cigarettes and just, what was it like to, well, you know, as you might imagine. And I remember one interview Dick Cavett did. You know, most of these stars expected that whoever was interviewing them, Johnny or whoever, would have watched their movie. And I remember Dick Cavett admitting he hadn't seen it. Well, Lee Marvin didn't like that. You know, well, I came on here to promote the film and didn't have to, you know, and you didn't even bother to see it. All right, you know, it's smoking cigarettes. He was not pleased, Lee Marvin. He was not pleased. And there's another one where he and, is it Johnny? Are just insulting each other, not in a real way. Fake insulting and just jabbing at each other. It's so awesome. Lee Marvin, check it out. I'm doing that show on Sunday. Why? Because nobody showed up to this one. That's why. Because we haven't made a dime on this one. So I have to take time on my Sunday after my Arsenal match, which starts at 6:30 in the morning on Saturday. 6:30. The good news is my sports weekend is over at 8:30 in the morning on Saturday. I don't care what happens to any football teams. I don't care what happens to anything. So we have exactly what is going on with my analytics here today. It's pretty awful. Wow, it's pretty awful. We had a big show yesterday. Maybe I should say nasty things about the Dabbleverse and get my hit count up. No, I don't think I will be. I think I've commented enough on that. I gotta go back through here. I gotta go back through here and consolidate all these. And do I have any? I still have to do Sherlock Holmes, Fred Silverman, The Band, Three Dog Night, Skunks, Oklahoma City Bombing. I did that one. Still have to do Whiteout. Still have to do The Last American Virgin. Still have to do Sylvia Lycan. I don't even know if I want to do Sylvia Lycan. That is, and Gertrude Banashevsky. That story is so brutal and violent and terrible. I got to do Cynthia Gonzalez. I got to do Peter Lorre. Peter Lorre. We'll be doing Peter Lorre. I'm doing The Polygraph. Okay, that's a new one. I'm doing the movie Clue. I'm doing Stranger Things. I'm going to wait until Stranger Things concludes for this season. The Pencil Sharpener. I have a request to do Hemorrhoids. The Great White burning of the building with the people inside of it thing. What else we got here? I think it's... Is that all I got? Yeah, I think that's all. Pretty sure that's all. I'm pretty sure that's it. Crappy at Life says, do the USS Liberty. Isn't the USS Liberty the... I've already done the Gulf of... well, hold on. Oh, that was attacked during the 6-Day War. Yes. Israel attacked it in error. It's going to take a while for me to get to that one. It's going to take a while. Aftermath, damaged, investigations. Records of it were designated top secret. U.S. and Israeli governments jointly stated that the Israeli attack upon the USS Liberty had been the result of error and nothing more. Admiral Thomas H. Maurer, Chief of Naval Operations, after the incident said that he cannot accept the claim by the Israelis that this was a case of mistaken identity. Okay, I'll put it on the list. But it'll be a while. It'll be a while. It'll be a while. Ongoing controversy and unresolved questions. Dean Rusk, in 1991, says he was never satisfied with the explanation. NSA reported there had been no radio intercepts of the attack made by the Liberty, nor by the U.S. submarine, the USS Amberjack. It's a pretty long article. Why would they do that? Doesn't make any sense. In error. Yeah, well, fog of war, all of that. Anybody got anything else? You got anything else around here today with this stuff and things? This may be my lowest view count. We were on a building, and now this one, for some reason, I think YouTube throttles us when we start doing well. Yeah, you want me to do a show on a conspiracy? There's one that merits investigation. By golly. Let's see. Crappy says, I missed the show because my stupid friend wanted to complain about work. That's my bad. Don't worry about it. You were here first. You H2BH'd me right out of the gate. We got 1, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17 chats. Normally it's in the hundreds. So I don't know what the hooey happened today. Don't care. Hey, man, you put in your nickel, you takes your chance. Who knows why? Crappy Life is 18. Oh, 18. Well, 2 of the 17 were mine. They don't probably even count. I'm not sure that counts. But since we made not 1 cent, and our goal here today, as every day, is any amount of money, and you guys were nice enough to be here. Hold on a second. I'll tell you what that gets you. Judy Tester says they erroneously shot up what clearly was an American vessel and erroneously shot up the lifeboats to get rid of the survivors. Whoopsie doodle. Towns says, I'm browsing the Cafe Press store. Thank you, Towns. There's a whole line of skunt merchandise there. I think you there's 2 different, when you get to one part of it, you can pick Tom Gulley Show stuff or skunt stuff. A lot of the skunt stuff has, if it's a shirt, it'll have skunt on the front and my logo on the back. Anyway, to your statement, Judy, it's well received. However, there is a litany of things that might have led them to inadvertently attack the Liberty. One of which was the fact that the flag on the ship was not clearly visible, and a bunch of other stuff. We're never going to know. And I don't believe in conspiracies. You know what I believe in the 6-Day War? I believe there was a lot of crazy stuff going on, but then again, I haven't investigated it. I haven't researched it. Suffice to say, when I do come to the table on the USS Liberty, whenever that's going to be, if you guys really want it, it can't happen next week. That's already booked. I'll do it the following week. It seems like a bunch of you want that. Now, one thing, I don't want it to be the anti-Semitism show. That ain't happening. They were accidentally trying to frame the Egyptians. Oopsie doodle. Crappy at Life says, did PayPal get rid of the guest checkout option? I don't know. I just get money from PayPal. I don't pay for things with it. I don't know. I don't know, man. Whoops. Just do what I normally do. Yes, PayPal offers a guest checkout called PayPal account optional, allowing users to pay with a debit or credit card without logging in, but it's merchant enabled and subject to PayPal's risk checks, so it isn't always available for every buyer or every transaction, sometimes due to location, browser, or past history. When you click the PayPal button at checkout, look for options like pay with debit or credit card, checkout as guest on the PayPal page. You'll enter your card details directly on the PayPal page, not the merchant site. Provide your email and shipping info. Now, why it might not be seen is the merchant settings. The seller must enable PayPal account options feature in their PayPal settings. Risk factors. PayPal system assesses risk. based on your purchase history, cookies, location, credit, and where, you can block guest checkouts for those reasons. Browser and cookies. Your browser choice or existing PayPal cookies can affect availability. So I don't know what Cafe Press does in that regard. So it's okay, Tom. I'll be anti-Semitic enough for the both of us. Not on this show. I don't go for that. I don't go for that. Longtime ally of the United States. Yeah. But we'll get to the bottom of the whole USS Liberty. I don't think in the middle of the 6-day war, the Israelis were looking to start some with us. And I also don't think if they wanted to blame the Egyptians for something, shooting. Look, the United States, when you shoot up one of our ships, like you sink the Lusitania, you attack Pearl Harbor, we usually get pretty frosty about that. We likes our ships here in these United States. We likes them a whole bunch. Anyway. Sunday, Lee Marvin. I think that's what I'd concentrate on. Lee Marvin. There's actually a group. I'm going to tease something that I was going to just say for the show. It's a group, and famous people belong to the group. And it's secret. It's sort of secret. It's a fake secret society, okay? Devoted to Lee Marvin. The sole entry requirement is that one must have a physical resemblance to plausibly look like a son of Lee Marvin. Founding member and film director Jim Jarmusch, who directed, I think, my favorite movie of all time called Down by Law, explained, if you look like you could be a son of Lee Marvin, then you are instantly thought of by the sons of Lee Marvin to be a son of Lee Marvin. The founding members of the society, and of course it's secret, so we don't know for sure, are musicians Tom Waite, John Lurie, Nick Cave, director John Borman. Other members are rumored to be Thurston Moore, Iggy Pop, Josh Brolin, and Neil Young, although none of them has been formally recognized by the society, which refuses to disclose its inner workings to the public. The society meets occasionally, ostensibly to watch Lee Marvin films together. Society members perpetuate the joke in the media. Tom Waits described it to Rolling Stone in 1986 as somewhere between the Elks Club and the Academy Awards. Jarmusch said at a 1989 interview, "I'm not at liberty to divulge information about the organization other than to tell you that it does exist. I can identify 3 other members of the organization, Tom Waits, John Lurie, and Richard Bose. You have to have a facial structure such that you could be related to or be a son of Lee Marvin. There are no women, obviously, in the organization. We have communiques and secret meetings. Other than that, I can't talk about it." Jarmusch revealed in a 1999 interview that the son of Lee Marvin, the actual son of Lee Marvin, Christopher, had objected to the existence of the organization in an encounter with Tom Waits at a bar. He said 6 months ago, Tom Waits was at a bar somewhere in Sonoma County in Northern California, and the bartender said, "You're Tom Waits, right? A guy over there wants to talk to you." Tom went over to this dark corner booth, and the guy sitting there said, "Sit down, I want to talk to you." So Tom started getting a little aggressive. "What the blank do you want to talk to me about? I don't know you." And the guy said, "What is this BS about the Sons of Lee Marvin?" Tom said, "Well, it's a secret organization and I'm not supposed to talk about it." The guy said, "I don't like it." Tom said, "What's it to you?" The guy said, "I'm Lee Marvin's son," and he really was. He thought it was insulting, but it's not. It's completely out of respect for Lee Marvin. Christopher Marvin, a professional drummer and the only son of Lee Marvin, featured as a guest artist on the song Cold Water from Waits' album Mule Variations in 1999. And then there's a whole bunch of pictures of the sons of Lee Marvin. Incidentally, Jim Jarmusch looks a lot like a son of Lee Marvin. And I mean a lot. What do we got here? Judy Tester says, unless it's Israel, they get to do whatever for some reason. Well, so do we. Crappy at Life says, I bought a shot glass. It better come signed. It's not signed. But what I would say is, you can sign it, and then I will insist to people that I signed it. So it's kind of the same thing. Crappy at Life says, what is Tom Waits for? The bus? He waits for Nighthawks at the diner, limos 49er. It's a rendezvous with strangers around the coffee of the night. Your gypsy hacks and you. Anyway, you got to listen to some Tom Waits. Yeah, the Tom Waits, you're missing out. Tom Waits rocks. Romeo was bleeding, not so you'd notice. Over on 18th Street as usual. Looking so hard behind the hood of his car. Putting out a cigarette in his hand. And all the pachugo that he pumps. There's a Tom Waits album called Nighthawks at the Diner. I'm even going to put it in the chat here just for you guys. Oops, here. Come on. What you need to do, oh God, Tom Waits. Why have we not done Tom Waits? Jeez Louise. Tom Waits. One of my favorite artists of all time. Ooh, Charles Bukowski. We got to do Charles Bukowski. So, Nighthawks at the Diner. You can listen to it on YouTube, you know. Make sure it's in order, because all the songs have specific introductions. It's awesome. It's really good. Anyway, I guess the thing that I was going to bonus you guys with, since you're here, they got 29 views right now. I don't know what they did to me tonight. Maybe it was last night's show. What was last night's show about? The collapse of the bridge? What possibly could I have done to make them mad? You get to pick the outro song. Whatever outro song you want, that's the one I'm going to play. Oh, by the way, all of these are on Podbean now. I probably should cut a large quantity of the opening 10 minutes or 8 minutes of music so podcast people won't go, I'm not sitting through this crap. But they're there for them, and I have to start promoting them and all that good stuff. But anyway, I guess since nobody's doing it, the first person to request the outro song wins. And if nobody does in 30 seconds, I'm picking it myself. But I do thank you guys for being here. You're the best. No, Crappy at Life. You got to pick one of my theme songs, not the German anthem from 1939. Just watch Triumph of the Will. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. Leni Riefenstahl. By the way, I could do one on Leni Riefenstahl, although another content creator will make fun of me for a year. Maybe I should just do one on Triumph. No, I don't want to do one on Triumph of the Will. I'll get in big trouble for that. Crappy at Life says, I have it on VHS. I had to watch it in film school, and I was going to watch it again, but I couldn't find any good copies of it on YouTube. I thought there'd be a pristine copy. That movie, Triumph of the Will, is so well shot and edited, and it's like the subject matter is so horrible that you really can't watch it without being perceived as an awful person. But if you're gonna, it should be in pristine quality, and if it's not, you're not watching it. Triumph of the Will is pretty boring. It's just a tourism advert. Oh, it's propaganda of the highest order. Anyway, horribly awesome. No, it's not. It's that one shot. What do they have? Like 200,000 soldiers or something, they're all lined up perfectly. He's walking through them. Yeah. She got in a bunch of trouble. Well, they tried to get her in a bunch of trouble. She was like, look, man, I wasn't in a position to say no to that guy because I wanted to live. It's like somebody in the British, but very good point, I have to say. That's an extremely good point in your favor. Anyway, since nobody picked a song, Crappy Life says, I've done some marching in my day, identify with those soldiers. Goat says it's beautiful. All right, here we go. Well, they make you study it in film school for composition and editing. So anyway, I think I'm just going to go ahead and play The Night the Spiders Attacked because everybody loves it. And I'm also going to mention, got a Christmas surprise coming up for you. Trust me. So as all that being said, I'm looking at that old clock on the wall. It says that, like the Reverend Al Green, I got to get up on out of here. By the way, Sunday, special show, Lee Marvin. Be here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And with all that being said, thank you guys who were here. You're the best. Till next time, we'll see you next time.
It was late one evening, smooth and mellow and sweet. Tom Gulley on the airwaves, laying down that beat. He heard a little rustle, tapping soft and discreet. Turned around and saw some spiders dancing on their feet. All their legs were shiny gold, and the rhythm pure heat. He thought, hold on, baby, these little fellas groove kinda crazy, and the whole room lit like a disco dream. Oh, that was the night the spiders attacked. But with disco hearts, baby, nothing got whacked. Skittering, jittering, never losing the tact. Tom Gulley smiling, feeling all the impact. Oh, honey, no one got sacked on the night. Oh, the night, the night, the night the spiders attacked. Christian Slater walks in with his Hollywood stride, leather jacket shimmering, grin open wide. He saw those tiny dancers moving side to side. Didn't take a minute funky harmonies floating like we'd turn a new page. Spiders tapping rhythm like a miniature band. Oh, that was the night the spiders attacked. But with disco hearts, baby, nothing got whacked. Skittering, jittering, never losing the tact. Groove so smooth it bordered on abstract. Oh, honey, no one got sacked. Oh, the night, the night, the night the spiders attacked. Oh, that was the night the spiders attacked. Silver legs shimmering in every move exact. Glittering, gliding, keeping all the rhythm packed. Groove so heavy, every heartbeat sinks